If you go to a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament and ask multiple people what Melee means to them, you'll get a lot of different answers. Some will say to them it's an outlet for their creativity and to truly express themselves in their gameplay. Some will say that it's an excuse to travel, hang out with their friends, and make memories that will last with them forever. And some people, they want to be the best in the world, and it's a chance for them to be known. In a scene as old and expansive as Melee, there's a lot of glory to be around. There's those who seek glory by being the best player in the world, playing the best characters, and using the best strategies. Or maybe a bit of both. There's also those who seek to be the soul of the game, who lighten up the room and make everybody in the crowd go wild. Then, there's those who to them, Melee just means a fun time. Those are the types of players who fight for the most honorable title of all, the leader of the bunch. You would think a game released in 2001 would eventually leave characters like Donkey Kong in the dust. I mean, he's so bad. Characters like Fox, Falco, and Marth would just eventually lap him multiple times as they're more developed. I mean, compared to them, he's almost a joke. I mean, even the official strategy guide really doesn't take him seriously. I mean, he's frequently referred to as the ape, the monkey, the simian, stuff like that. But even then, when you compare his attributes to Fox, there's something there. I mean, he even has one more usage stat than Fox. There's clearly something that people in the guide understood that we didn't. In all seriousness, Donkey Kong, with all of his weaknesses, including a hurt box on his tie, should seemingly be a character most tend to avoid. I mean, Melee is a serious game. People invest hundreds or even thousands of hours in this game, with some barely cracking the surface at Melee's competitive threshold. But there are some people who pick up this game and see it as totally different. There are certain players who plug the controller in and ask themselves, what if Melee could be funny? And this is the story of one of the players who did it, and did it pretty freaking well. DK's first spot in the meta was in the holster of Meta Legend Captain Jack. You know, the guy from the Smash Shock who taught everybody how to L cancel in DI and buy everybody with his secondaries. When looking at Captain Jack bods, you'll notice a nice portion of his bods are Donkey Kong. This is Captain Jack's DK in 2004. We see the Jack's neutral and punish game resemble a young version of Melee DK's modern playstyle. You know, the walling bears, the burst strings, the cargo throw up throw combos, and the charge punch. This is the first time we see a Melee player really appreciating DK and playing to his strengths. Other players playing DK at this time period, even like Azen, they were really uninvested in DK's punish game and optimizing it, and they didn't really play to his strengths that much, just kind of going with the flow. Despite Jack's impressive DK for the time, he remained mostly devoted to Sheik and some Dr. Mario, and as the rest of the scene caught up to him, he pulled the DK less and less as time went on, till eventually, he faded into obscurity. And it wasn't until 2007 that we saw a player solely devoted to DK. I've got a theory. To play a funny character like DK, you've gotta be a funny guy. I mean, you've seen Wrangler.
Talk about getting real true. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Well, let me show you another funny guy.
Ness and Bowser were fucking horrible. Bowser's saving point, to be honest, was his up B. And mind you, where was the fucking animation of him running? That motherfucker had no animation. He literally. I did not understand that. Like, I'm glad that in part 4 they decided to fucking give him a running animation. I did not understand. What? Like, what the fuck was that shit?
This is Bum, and as you may have guessed, he plays Donkey Kong. What you may not have guessed is that he may have performed the best out of any DK in the history of the Kong. Okay, scratch that. He did perform the best out of any DK in the history of the Kong. This is the story of Bum, the true first member of the DK crew. In March 2007, rumors of the MLG series canceling Smash events came to a halt. In a tiny Long Island village called Farmingdale, New York, a Melee event was going to take place that had many of the scene's top players of Smash Talk fame like KDJ, Mewtwo King, PC Chris, Isaiah, and Chudat. The Smash Sports thread was buzzing with excitement, but one message posted by a bruiser from the Bronx stands out in particular. May 5th, 2007. MLG Long Island, Farmingdale, New York. Mew2King finishes his first set of pools against Acemarth. He's the 4th seed of the event, so his projected bracket is to play the 5th seed. A name you might recognize, Isaiah. But when the character select screen pops up, the hand goes to the name history, and something happens Mew2King didn't quite expect. The letters B-U-M! Exclamation mark. This wasn't Captain Falcon. This wasn't M-E-L. Just around before, Bum sat across from Isaiah. He moves his cursor to our favorite character. Bum is everything you want a Donkey Kong player. He's wise, and he plays DK for all the right reasons. He says he plays DK because he's silly, fast, and big, and that's really all you need. If you're one of the lucky people who played Melee in the tri-state area in the early 2000s, chances are you've heard the tales of Bum. A local legend, low-tier hero beating up the Deadly Alliance crew with Donkey Kong, sometimes playing with his back turned or blindfolded. This tournament will be the first time he's playing in the same field as some of the best players in the world. His first test is Isaiah, you know, the guy who would be the best if he tried. The first game, we see everything a great DK needs. Confidence. Bum uses charge punches in a way we haven't really seen before. Calling out Isaiah's slip-up in recovery, threatening in front of him in neutral, but most importantly, we see Bum using a move we never saw Captain Jack use. When you play a heavy character in a fighting game, you don't really expect him to have fast moves. If a character with great damage output had a quick move that did lots of things, it would be funny. Donkey Kong's up B is funny. It's a bit of a multi-purpose tool. Okay, it's a lot of a multi-purpose tool. It's frame 3 on the ground, frame 2 in the air, has invincibility, has insane kill power, can hit through platforms, it can grab ledge, it can be used as a shield, kill confirm, whiff punish, anti-air, break out of combos, edge guard, and make him dab. Oh, and it helps him recover too sometimes. And Bum seems to be the first to understand that. Using all these unique things about his play, Bum puts together the pieces to create a truly menacing Donkey Kong. And he kinda does something nobody expected. He does this. And just like that, Bum beats Isaiah 3-1. This is a monumental win for DK. No one's ever seen a DK like this, and no one's ever seen a DK beat Isaiah, one of the best players in the world at the time. But Bum probably isn't thinking about the monumental win he just got. He's thinking about the fact that next in his path is the surgical precision of Mew2King. Mew2King, if there's one person who's not going to lose to a low tier, it's probably him. He knows everything there is to know about this game. But they start off on FD. Many people who play Spacies will immediately wince at the thought of them starting on FD against Donkey Kong, but things were different back then. Regardless, Mew2King takes it after a pretty good comeback. Then, Bum tries to take it to Brinstar, one of his better stages. After living to a whopping 238%, he decides to go on his own terms. But next is Jungle Japes. Everybody in New York City knows that Jungle Japes is Bum's turf. He does not lose here. After some classic upbeats, he takes the third game. But the last stage is Pokeflits, where DK's horizontal recovery doesn't bode too well, and Mew2King takes the final game of the set 3-1. sending our hero to the losers bracket. The losers bracket, a place nobody wants to be. Everyone in the losers bracket is a salty person, so mad about their last set. Except for Bum. He just beat Isaiah, and he lost to Mewtwo King. Who would be mad about losing to Mewtwo King? Except for, like, I don't know, IBGW? In losers, Bum tears through Warrior Knight, a really accomplished Bowser main, and then has to play Kilowfox, who is a around top 10 player in the Tri-State area and part of the Deadly Alliance crew. And he lands the nastiest clip you'll ever see in 2007 against this guy. But next, he plays Chudat. Hot off the 3rd place finishing at Cataclysm 3, top 5 player Chudat was the heavy favorite going into the set, and he carried that momentum into the first game, winning with the stock left. But something must have not set right with Chudat. Maybe it was the close first game, or the counterbreak to Rainbow Cruise, but something stuck in Chudat. You just won first game, Chudat. You're gonna go Ice Climbers again, right? 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 Okay, Young Link. He regrets that. It's 1-1. Chudat learns nothing. It's rat time, baby.
What? Like, what the fuck was that shit? This shit was dumb as shit.
It's 2-1 Bum. Now, sadly, the 4th game is lost to time, and I coded everywhere for this, but I can only assume Chudat either chose Scrimble, Bimblo, the lovable Scrunko, or, judging by the game with Chudat's favor, Ice Climbers. Either way, the most important part isn't who they play, but where they are. Game 5, Jungle Japes. Adding another top 5 win to his belt, Bum leaves MLG Long Island 2007 at a spectacular 4th place. That is Bum's really last top-level tournament. He'd enter for fun here or there, but he said that he eventually doesn't really remember when he stopped competing, and he just drifted away. But he didn't leave the Smash community totally behind. He would host tournaments here or there, but he set his sights mostly on the traditional fighting game community, and he would become a high-level competitor in a lot of other games. He's a god gamer. He also played a lot of DBFC, and here's his team, of course, some funny big guys, and he would get Master Rank in Overwatch, playing, of course, a big guy. Bum's DK, while it was such a short spec in the span of Melee's history, is inspiring to many people, including myself if you can't tell, and it's proof that, as long as you're a funny guy playing for the right reasons, you can accomplish a lot in this game.